was a great weekend to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, but we know mosquitoes, flies, wasps, rodents, they might want to crash your summer party. This morning, Tony Kruszewski from Wil-Kil Pest Control gets us moving with tricks to get rid of those pests. Thanks so much for coming in, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we are talking about everything that we don't want in our homes.
Absolutely.
I have a huge fear of mice, and they come in the house sometimes.
It's a scary thing to have happen, and we're kind of hoping to dispel some myths. And in particular, the thing that most people think is that you can have cheese to catch mice.
Sure.
And cheese is not really a good choice. What you might want to do is use peanut butter. Peanut butter is a better choice to attract mice.
Why is that?
Well, why is that? Because it has a better odor, and it has a longer distance to bring them in. But unfortunately, many people don't realize that mice come into your home looking to nest. And so a better choice would be something like maybe cotton. I like to spread a little cotton on there, or a little floss, or a little bit of paper. And the other benefit of that is when you have things such as cheese or peanut butter, you're going to attract ants and roaches and other things that are not too good over a period.
Which would be very counterproductive. You want to get rid of one and then only to bring in more pests.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like the cotton idea. I've never heard of that before. So also, this is something that I realized this weekend, is that the flies are out, and they can be so annoying. They just like to bug you. They have a way of doing that.
They do. And so unfortunately, there's so many options with flies, and the famous thing that people always hear is that you attract more flies with honey than vinegar.
Yes.
But there are traps here that actually use vinegar to attract flies. It's really neat. So you have to realize, first of all, that flies are attracted to light and odor. So when you keep that in mind, sometimes things that are more odorous will attract them than maybe something sweet like honey.
Okay.
So we have a number of different traps that are amazing to me. For example, you have here where people put water and a few pennies in here and attract flies, and hopefully that'll leave them away. But believe it or not, that actually attracts them, and it's not a really good thing. Keep in mind that when you do have a trap, you're actually attracting a pest and not necessarily taking care of the situation.
Okay.
This particular unit here just spritz out some chemical here, and so if a fly happens to be going by, you may kill that fly, but you're still breathing in that product.
So what do you recommend then, the best way to get rid of flies?
The best way to get rid of flies is sanitation. And people don't want to hear that, but you really do need to clean up because they're attracted to odor, and you have to take that extra step of cleaning up. And it may be things such as dealing with your drains, dealing with gelatinous materials around the corner, especially in situations in the kitchen or in a bar, to where you have that buildup over a period of time and they're attracted to it.
Awesome. Well, that is some really handy information, and I know we're going to continue talking with you in our 6 o'clock hour about Minnesota state bird, the mosquito, which nobody's a fan of this time of year. So we're going to get some helpful advice on how to deal with those too. So Tony, thanks so much for coming in, and we'll chat with you more later.
I thank you so much.
All right. It was a great weekend to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, but we know mosquitoes, flies, wasps, they want to crash and ruin your summer party. Well, we are joined this morning with Tony Kruszewski from Wil-Kil Pest Control, getting us moving with tricks to get rid of the pests. We were just talking about that I am very common because I'm doing everything wrong, it sounds like. There's a lot of myths out there that really don't do anything when it comes to getting rid of bugs. So let's start with the most annoying bug in the state of Minnesota, a mosquito.
A mosquito. Well, mosquitoes are really interesting in the fact that with the Zika virus, people are more aware of it than ever before. And you hear the old saying, oh my goodness, I get bitten by mosquitoes where all my other friends don't. And it's true, believe it or not, that certain people get more bitten by mosquitoes. Pregnant women, people that have, let's just say, a higher body temperature, a certain fragrance, a certain clothing that you're wearing. It depends on the wind direction and so on and so forth. But yes, more people get bitten by mosquitoes.
So what can people do about it? How can people get rid of the mosquitoes?
Well, the most important thing is DEET. I have just a small little package here, and I'm going to turn this around, not to say anything with a specific company, but at least 20 to 25% DEET, and maybe up to 100%. I've seen DEET up to 100%. It's interesting where I read where the Brazilian Army has a special product with mosquito that they have 100% DEET in their product, and protects people from that. So a couple things. You want to protect yourself and cover yourself with DEET. You want to make sure that you don't have standing water as far as your little ponds. Simple things as even a bottle cap with water in it will produce mosquitoes.
And I want to get to this because a lot of people have issues with birds in their yard, you know, whether it's seagulls or geese leaving their droppings. And I know I've seen this. People will put like an owl on their dock to try to scare the birds away, but this might not be the best way to go.
No, the thought behind owls is that you have a larger bird, and initially you may see a reduction in pigeons and other birds in the area, but what happens is that they get used to it, and over a period of time I've actually had pictures of where a pigeon will be sitting on top of an owl.
And real quick, what should people do then instead?
People should, as far as pigeons be concerned, is stop leaving food and water and things that will encourage their habitat in the area.
Okay, common sense stuff. All right, Tony, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Matt?